You're impossibly fast and strong. Your skin is pale white and ice cold. Your eyes change color. And sometimes you speak like you're from a different time. You never eat or drink anything. You don't go out in the sunlight. How old are you?
17.
How long have you been 17?
A while.
I know what you are.
Say it. Out loud. Say it.
Vampire.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Film Bros podcast. My name is Isaiah Lucas, and I am joined by my co-hosts.
Abraham.
And Nick.
How you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good.
Doing all right, man.
Can't
Good.
complain.
Can't
Good,
complain.
I'm glad to hear that.
It was a beautiful day today.
Yeah, it was.
Nice to have a little break from the rain.
Yeah, and that rain's about to pick up
Pick
again
up
tomorrow. We need
So-
it, though.
Well, yeah,
We do.
100% we do need it.
Yeah. I saw something on TikTok where they were comparing the drought that we've been in, that California's been in for the longest time.
Like 5 or 6 years, I feel like.
Yeah, and they compared it to like now with all the rain that we've gotten. It's like,
I think it's substantially better, but I still think we need like a good amount more rain
Oh, yeah,
to
we-
even get
we-
out of the drought.
we still do. We're still technically in a drought, but we've cut the percentage
Way down. I'm sure.
drastically.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depends on what they do with all that groundwater.
True.
See, the slough is still crazy
Dude, the
full.
slough is full, and it's crazy that there's just so much water in it. And it's crazy to see that in March.
I know. Never happens like that.
Never happens like that.
Yeah. Hopefully we can keep it all around for the year. But yeah, it's been crazy weather over here. It's been feeling nice. So I know it felt nice over the weekend
I
too.
Oh, it felt beautiful.
And
over the
then
weekend.
felt great today, and then we're about to go back into the rain.
Yeah, I was almost tempted to walk around today with blue tints on my glasses so I could get a little taste of what it feels like to be in Forks,
in Forks, Washington.
Forks,
Yeah.
Washington. Man, this movie.
You know what we should do is I should go turn the white balance
All the way
correct,
down.
all the way to the blue.
Yes,
and just have us staring at the camera like.
Yeah, just ready to get a freeze frame. This is just gonna be the thing
thumbnail.
for thumbnail for YouTube.
Dude, you know how bad. You gotta Photoshop some glitter on me, bro.
And going.
No, I want to be able to see a human and shake
You're like my
uncontrollably.
personal heroine.
We gotta act like we're just constipated. I know. Oh, I can't believe that's a quote, dude. I cannot believe that.
You're like my brand of personal heroine.
Oh, dude. I cannot I can't count the times I physically cringed
Me too.
watching this movie, dude.
Yeah.
I was like,
when you sent the video of Bella and let's talk about what movie.
yeah. What are we watching?
Yeah.
We're watching not watching about the 20. Why do I always say 20? I always want to say 20. 2008 film Twilight. It was directed by Catherine Hardwicke. I think that's how you say it. And it was written by Melissa Rosenberg and Stephanie Meyer, which also Stephanie Meyer wrote the book.
Yep.
Yes.
And basically it's about a teenage girl who's moving to her father's in Forks, Washington, after her mom wants to travel, and basically she picked up and moved her life over
Yep.
and is now picking it up in a totally new environment.
Yep.
and it's not what she
Yeah, she's-
anything what she thinks is
Living in a world with vampires
and
werewolves.
and chupacabras. No, not chupacabras. I'm joking.
And La Llorona. No, I'm just kidding. All the supernatural things all take place in Forks.
Yeah, the Loch
Like
Ness monster.
SCPs, like all the SCPs are there too.
What's an SCP?
Oh, why does that sound familiar?
You know those games, those like internet tall tales, the SCP containment breach games?
Yeah, I think I know. Isn't it like a what does SCP stand for?
I forget. But
SCP?
I remember Markiplier like playing all those SCP games, and there's like tons of lore behind like all these characters and stuff. But like, or like Slenderman. Slenderman
Bro,
lives in Forks.
Secure, contain, and protect. SCP.
Oh. Yeah, and then what they do is like it's called like SCP 86 or 82, and they like number them, and they're all these like different monsters and all this stuff. But they're like creepypastas. They started as creepypastas, and then someone made it into a game, and then
Right,
got
like Jeff the
popular.
Killer and stuff.
yeah,
Oh
freaking
my
Jeff the Killer.
gosh.
Dude.
I can't believe I even said that.
I
I kind of
remember.
embarrassed to say that.
I remember hearing about Jeff the Killer for the first time and seeing that picture of him, and being so terrified, like in middle school, and then growing up later and being like, I remember that dude. That looks so stupid. I remember that, thinking that was scary.
I'm pulling it up right now.
You've never seen
Yeah.
Jeff the Killer.
I might have.
You're gonna know immediately when you see the picture of him going, smiling.
Okay, pull it up. I don't got no Wi-Fi in here. Is it really that recognizable?
Yeah.
Jeff the Killer, huh?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, we'll have to see. Let's see it here. Oh, that thing?
Yes. Even you know.
Yes, I know this. Go to sleep, it says. Wasn't there like a children's TV show that would like have these? Like it would have like a
I think you're
scene-
thinking of Momo.
Oh, is
Momo?
Yeah.
Momo's crazy.
Okay.
No, and it was kids' YouTube videos. Like, but what would happen? So that's
And
why
I
like
remember moms being like, watch what your kids watch.
yeah.
This?
Yes, this.
Yeah.
That looks the same.
Yeah, they're pretty similar.
They're pretty similar.
But the Momo thing, that's actually like a sculpture.
Lord,
that
that
somebody made.
is terrifying.
Yeah, that's a sculpture that someone made. And what it is these YouTube channels that were making money off of kids' views, because kids' YouTube is
Wild.
crazy profitable.
Oh yeah.
So they would upload these videos as jokes and all this stuff. Like they even did stuff with like Filthy Frank clips.
No.
Where they would like play these kids videos, and they would insert Filthy Frank's clips of him being like, unalive yourself, like, and like like say all these like crude like wild things. Or they would put like pictures of Momo
Yeah.
in there, and they'd be like, kill yourself tonight at so and so whatever time, and all this
Why?
stuff and everything. And
It was wild.
so like, and they're doing it as a way to like get back at parents for not monitoring what their kids watch, or just giving them the phone to like
Oh.
watch YouTube.
Yeah.
And one of the parents caught on and was like, my kid is watching videos and this thing come up and blah, 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 blah. You better be careful. All this stuff.
That's
And
a
it
deep
caused this
cut.
whole thing. It was wild. I remember whenever I was working at my previous job, facilitating visits, I would have families who would have children that would talk about, be like, oh, Momo, you remember Momo?
Bro.
And I'd be like, dude, what do these kids know about this? And then the moms would be like, don't talk about that. Don't. Like all this
Bro,
stuff.
I feel like you'd be like, that's the dope.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. All right. How did we get onto this subject?
I guess, I mean, you can tie it in a little bit with like cultural phenomenons, because the movie that we were talking about, Twilight, was a cultural phenomenon.
That's a fact.
Took the world by storm.
Yes, it did. I remember this movie. It came out in 2008, so I was in middle school. And I remember the girlfriend that I had at the time went to the movie theaters to watch this, came back, had a Team Edward shirt. Her and her friends had all this Twilight merch, wearing like having the shirt with like the book cover on it, like this.
the little apple.
Yeah, like it, dude. This movie, no joke, took the world by storm. Everyone loved it.
Yes.
Like,
And for better or for worse too, because I was in the camp where everyone was dogging on it.
oh really?
So I had heard like everyone was clowning on they sparkle when they go into the sun. What's that about? Obviously, it's like
Yeah.
what is happening here?
So think I fall into the same camp as you because when these movies came out,
Dude.
I was like so into all the spoof movies, like
the disaster movie.
Yeah, or like Meet the Spartans.
Bro.
You guys remember that?
Yes,
I
I
was
do.
so into those movies, and I remember there was one where they make fun of the Twilight movies, and I thought it was hilarious. And I never watched any of the Twilight films, but I watched the spoof versions of them and them making fun of them and thought it was hilarious. And that was like my whole exposure to the Twilight movies. And then when Alexa and I got together, it took us a long time for us to eventually talk about like things that we liked growing up and all this stuff. And she had eventually revealed to me that she loved the Twilight movies. And I was like, I've never watched the Twilight movies. I don't think I ever want to. And then I remember one day whenever we actually got married, we were sitting around at the house and she got the Twilight Saga on Blu-ray for Christmas. And yeah,
I got it for her.
This guy freaking bought it for her. And I'm sitting there, I'm in the office, I'm playing video games, and I just hear this like thumbing coming from the TV, and I go over there and she's watching Twilight, and I sat down and watched a little bit of it, and the entire time I was just like, what the heck is going on, dude? What is this CGI? How is he zipping around from tree to tree?
Yes.
This is freaking crazy. And she was just like, I know, but I love it because I grew up with it and all this stuff. And I feel like this is one of those movies where you know it's bad, but if you grew up with it, then you're like, but it's still got a place in my heart.
You're just going to be able to look past it.
I get like a 10-year-old loving this
Yeah.
and just being so taken by Edward Cullen, you know.
Well, and also
But
like
as new people, like I haven't watched any of these movies.
Yeah.
I know like the bare bones.
Yeah.
Coming into this, I'm like, yikes, this is just trash.
Another thing why I think these movies did so well, this came out in a time where, you know, people are in middle school, going into high school, they're feeling angsty, they're feeling, you know, disheveled and rejected and all this stuff. And they see a character like Bella get portrayed on screen, and they're like, I can identify with this person. This is what I'm feeling on screen. This is who I want to be, you know? You know?
Choosing
So
the bad
after
guy.
this, people are walking around with their freaking iPod Nanos listening to and being like, I'm the main character in my own movie. Like all this stuff, you know?
Bro, I just want you to know you hit that note. You hit it.
Yeah. The only reason I know that song too, this is kind of funny. There was a dubstep version of that song.
No.
And I remember when I first learned what dubstep was, I went on YouTube and just typed in dubstep and clicked like the most viewed video, and there was a remix of that song. I remember listening to it and being like, "Oh, this is sick." Yeah.
That's funny.
They also capitalized off of the whole pick a side. Do you remember that?
There is no
Yeah.
side.
I remember girls being like, "I'm Team Edward." No, it's Team Jacob. Like, all this stuff.
I remember that too. Like I remember one of my teachers, my 6th grade teacher, had this plastered all over her room.
Really?
Yeah,
That's weird. I will say, if you're Team Jacob, you need to go to therapy, bro. I don't get it. Like, I watched the first 3 episodes, the first 3 movies, right? And I think that's a pretty good gist, especially the third movie. The third movie really hits home of like, who will she choose?
Okay.
Edward or Jacob? You know?
Yeah,
Because they're
yeah.
both.
So will you watch more than one?
I've watched, for this podcast, I watched 1, 2, and 3. It's a new moon.
That's commitment, bro.
And
You like Twilight, don't you, Nick?
bro, I told Lisa, I said, I watched some trash movies, and now if I watch a trash movie, you have to watch now.
Yeah.
Because she normally takes a nap, and I'm not going to let her. I'm saying, no, you got to watch this with me.
You gotta wake up.
I can't believe you voluntarily watched the second one and third one.
Here's what I'll say. They are by far trash. They do not get better through the 3 movies I watched. I mean, maybe slightly. The camera work definitely gets better.
Okay.
But it's trash through and through. But it's like that kind of trash where you just can't look away, kind of.
Yeah. It's
It's
a train
just like
wreck.
It's a train wreck.
It's just like I kind of compared. This is like Jersey Shore of movies.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. That makes sense.
The
Because
amount of
I love Jersey Shore, and it's trash.
Yes.
I will 100% say 100. It's trash.
Trash TV.
But this is trash too,
You
and
can't
I
help
kind
but
of
watch it.
I kind of like it.
I just liked thinking about the next time I'd cringe. And I knew it wasn't going to be far away.
Yeah.
Like, there was one scene, and I was like, like, there's 5 guys, and they're all shirtless,
Yeah.
and they're talking about dog, like, they're, talking about the wolves, and I'm like, I'm so...
Yeah, this movie was made for prepubescent teens
Yes.
and teenage girls to see Taylor Lautner with their shirt off and all this stuff and just being like, oh my gosh, Taylor Lautner, he's so hot.
That's the only thing I feel like he had going for him.
There were
Yeah.
times in...
Because he's a terrible actor.
Yeah.
in this, he's awful. Absolutely terrible. Dude, there were times where I almost couldn't stand it.
Yeah.
Like, I had to pause it and be like, I can't take it.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
Yes, but I'm here. I wonder what the book is like. The
Me
book
too.
had to have been better, right?
I would think so.
Like, there's no way that the book is as trash as the movie is.
Yeah.
There's no way the dialogue can be that bad and be this famous.
Regardless, I'm pretty sure the author of the books like co-signs these films. I mean,
Yeah.
she's in the first one.
Yeah.
Who
There's
does
a
she play
part,
as?
right?
She's in a movie. She plays a brief little scene. They even call her Stephanie.
They do?
Yeah, she's in the cafe. They give her food. She's sitting there on a laptop in like a red shirt, and they go, "Here you go, Stephanie," and she goes,
Oh.
"Thank you." And then it cuts over, and it's Bella and her dad being like, "Oh, don't you want to go play outside with your friends?" And they're sitting there like playing around with football. They're playing football in a parking lot.
Oh, outside? Yes,
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's dive into
Let's
this.
dive
thing.
into this.
What have you got,
Is this
man?
streaming anywhere?
It's streaming on Showtime.
Okay.
So you have to have a premium subscription to Showtime.
Okay.
I thought I owned it, so I just ended up renting it. So
That's a waste of money.
yeah.
We had it, bro. You could have just went over there and got it.
I know. I didn't. It is
Yeah.
what it is. It's
Yeah.
$3.99. It's all right.
Alexa has the whole saga. So if
Oh.
you need any of the movies, I got you.
5 movies. We got Showtime,
Yeah.
so that's how I watched it.
I thought you guys had Showtime.
We do. $1
And Lisa
a
was
month.
like texting him out. So stupid.
$1 a month.
But yeah, we popped this in, watched it, and had a hell of a 2 hours.
Yeah, it's 2 hours, which
Blows my mind. But let's-
We'll
not-
get into it a little bit. Yeah.
My first favorite scene is not until like 20 minutes in, bro.
Okay.
And
Well, first we'll give spoiler warnings
Yeah,
before we
spoiler
dive in.
warning.
If you haven't seen the movie, check it out. It is a fun watch if you're looking for something that's like
To laugh.
almost bad that it's good, or bad that it's almost good type thing. Or if you're a fan, or if you've never watched the movies and you're genuinely curious, don't let our review of the movie spoil anything, or go into it with your own mindset, make your own opinions, and come back and let us know if you think we're wrong, if you think we're right. If you haven't watched the movie, spoilers are going to be ahead, all that stuff. And the movie's also rated PG-13. So, without further ado, I think my first favorite scene is biology class.
Mine is before that. And
Okay.
it's getting introduced to the Colons, like when they're all walking into the cafeteria.
Yeah, and there's just that freaking huge exposition dump and being like, oh,
They're
there's Jasper.
Yes.
There's, what's her name? They're dating, even though that they're foster siblings.
It's kind of weird. They live together.
Yeah.
It's so weird. The way that they're explaining it's so weird. And I like it because they make it seem like they're the big popular group of this.
Yeah, and Jasper's
the
just walking
school.
around like he's about to take a poop
Dude,
any
he's-
moment. He's just like
He looks
looking like he's just seen a ghost.
He has no character development at all.
At all.
None.
He says like what, 2 or 3 words?
Yeah. I love whenever he hits the baseball because it's the only emotion I see him give throughout the entire movie. Whenever he hits it, he goes, it's freaking wild, dude. I'll show you.
You have to pull
I'll show
it
you
up.
later. It's crazy.
But I laughed at that scene because it's ridiculous, bro.
Mm.
And I don't know. It's just
Well-
seeing them walk in. They're all in like slow mo and all. In,
Yeah.
It's like
Well, give us a little context real quick as to how we got here in the movie.
okay. So to get introduced, Bella she's a junior in high school.
Yeah.
She used to live in Arizona, where her mom and her mom's boyfriend live.
New husband.
New husband, excuse me.
Mhm. Josh.
Yeah, minor league baseball.
He's a minor league baseball player, and they want to like travel the world or something like that. So they're shipping her off to Washington, Forks, Washington, where her dad is, Charlie,
Chief of police.
chief of police of Forks, Washington, and basically she's just got to move her life over, and while they go there, and basically it is kind of weird. You talked about it in the beginning before we recorded, but we get introduced to all these characters who act like they know her already, and like what's his name? Billy Black? Is that his name? No.
I don't know. That sounds like a superhero.
Definitely
Billy
does.
Black.
You could tell me any name right now, and I would believe you. The only one I know for sure is Jacob.
Yeah.
Yeah, Billy Black. It's Jacob's dad.
Oh, okay. The
Okay.
dude in the wheelchair?
The dude in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
wheelchair.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's hanging out with Charlie,
He's
and they're
hanging
kind
out
of
with
shooting.
Charlie. That's a
Yeah,
bum
yeah,
woman
yeah.
himself.
Yeah.
And basically they're like, oh, like we were expecting you, and basically she goes to this high school, Forks Washington High School, and gets in the cafeteria. First day, kind of awkward. I would be awkward.
She's kind of like the famous person because she's the new girl.
She's the
and
new
they don't
girl.
They don't
This
get
is
new
like
girls.
it's like a small town
Yeah.
too. So when there's a new girl, it's a big deal.
Or even like a new person, I feel like
Yeah.
it'd be a big deal.
Yeah.
So
I
then
thought that was the case here too. I think where we went to high school.
yeah, but that was with girls. Like if it was a new girl, every guy would always be like,
Yo,
like
new
PE
girl.
like in PE class, that's all you would hear.
Oh, okay.
I hate that you brought that up.
I mean, we kind of lived this.
We
It's
did.
a little bit true.
A little bit.
True. And so basically, Anna Kendrick's character, her name is
Couldn't believe she's in this movie.
I can't believe she's.
I don't know their name.
Jessica's. Her name is Jessica.
Susie Crabgrass is in this movie too.
Yeah,
dude.
she is. She's also in The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
It's
Susie
the one with the
Crabgrass
girlfriend.
from Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide.
She's got the glasses, and she's like, I take the pictures. I'm not in them.
Oh yes. The one
She's-
that asked what's her name. His name.
Her actual name is not Susie Crabgrass.
Should be though.
That's
a
how
fire
I know
name.
her, dude. That's how I
a
know
fire
her.
name.
What is her name now?
I have no clue.
Yeah, I
So
forget.
basically, those are her new friends at the school, and they're explaining to everybody like their little friends group, and then like you see, what's the big buff dude's name?
Emmett.
Emmett. Yes, they see him walking.
And
He's like
Rosalie-
always wearing white too, like
Yeah.
white pants and a white shirt.
Yeah, he dresses like he's a mobster.
Seriously,
He's got like a tracksuit on all the time with the wife pleaser.
I hate it.
Yeah.
And their eyes
Their
are
eyes
like the most brown, yellow, like
Yeah.
you know, they be looking at you without blinking type thing. Like,
They're the type of guy like when the colored-eyed kid wants you to know that he has green eyes, and you just all
just staring at you, never blinking. This is how they act in this.
So basically, they walk in, and she's like, "Oh, those are the Cullens. They're not good for anybody. They're adopted from Alaska or something like that."
yeah, yeah.
And then finally, like Edward comes in, and he's by himself. And she goes, "Who is that?" And Anna Kendrick's character, she goes, "That's Edward. He doesn't have any time for anybody," and like gets all depressed about it.
Yeah.
Like she's heartbroken about it that she doesn't.
Yeah, because we get the impression that like everyone in school wants Edward.
Edward.
Yep.
Yeah, and he comes in with the light skin face,
He's like
walking around like.
He's like the most pale face. He doesn't even have that good of a fit on either. It's
No.
just like
He's like wearing like
Hanes gray shirt with a.
Yeah, with a peacoat.
Oh,
like-
is that? Oh, that's a peacoat.
No, he was wearing a leather jacket with the thing. The what's it called?
The collar pop.
The
Why
collar
do
pop.
I remember him as just like a regular?
Oh
like,
no!
button-up.
The first time we see him, like he's just wearing like a t-shirt,
Doesn't
like
he
with
have
with
a-
like a long sleeve on or something.
Oh yeah,
under.
it's just a long sleeve,
like
and he's
layered.
holding.
Gosh, that scene is my
That
favorite.
scene.
That's the scene that's coming up soon
Yeah.
after yours.
Yeah,
And
But
so
it-
basically, we just get introduced to the Cullens, and it's just the way that they introduce them makes it seem like they're the biggest and hottest thing the city's ever had.
yeah,
And it's just funny to me.
Yeah.
And
The way
they're
it is.
looking over each other's shoulders and
yeah. The entire
Staring
time,
at each
Edward's
other.
looking at her.
stealing glances.
He's just like, Giving her the Hansel.
The Hansel.
The Hansel from Zoolander.
Yeah.
Imagine, the Owen Wilson doing the. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyways, that scene kind of leads into our favorite scene when they go to biology class and she walks in and notices her seat is right next to Edward Cullen and she walks in and it's all slow-mo.
Yeah.
He notices her.
There's a fan blowing behind her.
Dude,
Yeah.
I hate it because the fan goes and you just see him go.
He does this. He goes.
Dude, he's like vomiting, it looks like. He's straight up going.
It's wild.
It is terrible.
It's awful.
It's horrible. Why is he shaking?
And the thing is, too, they never explain in the movie why he does that.
I think it's because of her pheromones,
Right.
her smell,
And this is the thing.
her blood.
It's implied or it's said in the books, and it's never brought up in the film.
Never.
So if you don't know
She
anything about
stinks
it,
like
you're like, dude, she got BO. She got to put on some speed stick, man. Like
She put some degree
And
on.
he's straight up like literally sitting there. And then not only that, she does sit down and he's sitting there. They're not saying a single word to each other. He's sitting there covering his mouth, looking like he needs to take a dump. Like he looks so constipated.
Yeah.
And then he finally gets up and gets out quick.
Yeah. I even like too if she like starts sniffing her own armpits to see if she actually stinks or not. It's so funny. And I also love too how like he's standing there, like sitting there trying to take it, right? And like there's even shots of him where like he's trying to just look like so brooding.
Yes.
And he's just sitting there going like he's like taking on some form of torture. Like and he's trying to do like the 1,000-yard stare. Like
she must have got some good scent for
Yeah.
him to be acting like that.
Yeah.
She has
He's all,
no.
I can't take it. She smells so good.
I mean, seriously, he might as well would have done that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
even goes
'cause I hate to say it because I put that as a bruh moment, and I literally said, "Edward about to bust."
that's a good.
Yeah, dude, for
Because he's just
real.
sitting there like,
He's gonna turn into Dreamy Bull, man.
oh,
He's about to go, I'm buzzing.
About to bust.
I can't believe that. Did you see that he was like, I'm done with the memes?
Oh no, I didn't.
No.
I don't know
really?
if it's real. I don't know if it's real, but he
There's
said,
no
"That's
way.
funny.
I
Then
can't take
why
the
would you
memes. I'm
post
gonna-"
that publicly?
That's funny.
What?
If you're an adult, look it up.
No,
No,
look it up.
that's not safe for life.
No, that's a thing that should never be.
Never be
thought
seen.
about.
But this guy even goes as far as to like go to his counselor and be like, I want to switch classes,
Dude,
switch periods. or something.
That's so ridiculous.
Yeah. So at this point, Bella sees that too, and she's like, "Oh man,
I stink like
I
crap.
stink like crap. This guy doesn't like me. He wants to switch periods."
And he's the most popular kid in the school, too.
Yeah.
So it's like, he's going to tell everyone I smell like crap.
yeah, it's
It
pretty
was-
wild.
That first scene definitely caught me off guard with how just very awkward and clunky and just hilarious the
Yeah.
scene was, the acting was.
Yeah,
It was wild.
yeah. My next favorite scene from here isn't till pretty far into the movie.
I wish I had labeled my scenes better because I'm trying to remember a scene. I think it's the scene where
Describe it, because I feel like I can hit where it is.
I said Edward going BMX mode and drifting all over the place.
Bro, yes, yes, I know exactly what it is.
Is it when she's
It's
going
when
like
she's in
Oh,
the
when she's
alley.
by
gonna
herself?
get assaulted by those
She's-
guys?
Oh,
And he straight up goes,
Yeah,
and he pulls in and he gets out and he's like, walk away.
yeah,
Or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
yes, that's
yeah.
exactly. It's when she goes and gets the book, and she's walking
Oh,
alone.
yeah, she's learning about the.
And
He was freaking swinging that Volvo.
dude, that Volvo got some like differentials that like
And for no
He
reason
turned the
to.
traction control off. Everything.
Like, no reason to. He just, like, does it.
dude swings that.
And then she gets in the car and he's still, like, he's amped up.
He's all.
He's like,
you don't know what they were gonna do to you.
He's like,
I could read their thoughts.
let me go back and kill those guys.
Yeah.
He's
Distract me.
And she's
Tell
like,
me something
she's like,
else.
how could you tell what they were thinking? And he's like, it's not hard to imagine. Like, oh, dude,
He's
it's-
trying to hide.
Dude, and when
Yeah.
she says, put on your seatbelt, and he goes, you should put on your seatbelt. And he's going,
The whole
Yeah.
time, like dodging in and out of traffic, dude. I
Yeah.
was like, "There's no need."
He was cutting up,
Yeah,
bro.
he was, bro.
Any of this.
He had NBA YoungBoy in his head.
That's definitely farther in the movie, though. I don't know if you have anything earlier.
Yeah. Well,
'Cause
I
up
think after that,
No,
that's
after
like when
that's my like next one, which is when she Googles the freaking characteristics of a vampire, essentially.
It's
Yeah.
not a vampire. These things are not vampires.
they're cold
The-
ones.
They're cold ones. The only
You
way
crack
they're
'em open with
vampires
the
is
boys.
They're-
because they drink blood.
Yeah.
That's the only thing, right?
Yeah.
They don't have fangs
No.
and they don't burn in the sunlight.
No.
Those are like
They
the
aren't
two.
repelled by garlic.
That's like the. Those are the three things, and you could see them in the reflections.
Yeah.
They can go inside your house without being invited.
Yeah.
What's the where the vampires at, man?
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
are freaking cold ones.
Yeah, but she gets this whole idea where she goes to this bookstore and learns about these tribes that are in the area, these local tribes that Jacob is a part of as well as his dad. And she learns about like the mythology behind what these tribes believe and all this stuff. And she starts learning about how there are this tribe of local natives that, had the sign of the wolf, and they would like fight with these other people who claimed to be like blood drinkers and all this stuff. And then we come to find out like, oh, these guys were vampires, right? And then we see that like, oh, it's the Cullens, it's Edward and all this stuff. Whenever, however long ago, they put the freaking sepia tone filter on it to make it look like it's older.
Yes.
You
Oh
know?
my gosh. This
The like brown and black
Oh,
filter. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do. And that's when they're talking about like, well, this is just a rumor, but
Yeah.
this
yeah,
tribe, this is why they hate the cold ones. This is why we draw the line halfway in the middle of town.
Yeah. But yeah, that leads into your whole Google scene. where
It's so funny because
she
it
goes
leads in-
hacker.
She goes and
She do go hacker mode.
she do go hacker mode and looks up, like, I don't know exactly what she looks up, but basically she gets to this page and it just different like sections of the world, and anytime she clicks on the section, it highlights a characteristic of what essentially Edward is.
Yeah, they're like different names for what vampires are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like she's like, oh, in Egypt they were called this.
Yes.
In China they are called this.
Yeah.
And
you
then
know.
you can see it says the Pacific Northwest on there, and then finally when she clicks on that, it shows cold-handed.
Yeah.
And she touches.
And
yeah,
she-
she touched
it,
his
it
hand.
goes to a
Your hands are
flashback.
freezing.
It goes to a flashback of when he was going to X Games mode in the Volvo, and she touched her hand, and finally, after all hacker
puts it
mode,
all
she
together.
puts it all together, and gets to see him, and she's like, "I know what you are,"
He goes, say it.
and oh, I hate it.
Say it out loud.
This is one of my
This is
favorite
like the
quotes.
most iconic part of the movie.
Yes,
This reminds me of.
What?
I'm not even gonna say it. It's too inappropriate for right now.
No, I gotta know.
No, I
it's
gotta
the
know.
guy who says you belongs.
Oh,
It's too.
you're gonna do what I tell you.
But it's like that, like domineering
It's
force.
that. Yeah, it's that aura, that whole energy.
And it just cringes me so hard. But he goes,
Yeah, it does.
Say it.
and she
Out
goes,
loud.
"Oh my gosh!" And it's my best. It's one of my favorite quotes, and she just goes, "Vampire," and like the music that plays right after it says it's like, "Da-na!" I don't know. I don't even know. It sounded like super funny, and it's just
Dude,
again,
it's so funny too. Where he's like, "Then answer me the most basic question: what do we like to eat?" And he just
Can't
goes into this whole like diatribe of like, "You can't be around me. I'm a killer." And she's like, "I don't care. I like you." You know, it's this whole thing.
Well, that leads into my next favorite scene when he takes her up the mountain and he's like, "I've got to show you this." And he like takes off his. He doesn't. I don't know if he takes off his shirt, but he goes into the light.
Yeah, and he just like unbuttons his shirt.
And it's like
He's got Swarovski crystals everywhere.
everywhere. And she goes, "You're beautiful." He's like, "This is the face of a killer."
He's just glistening. And
he's
stuff.
just glowing, bro. He's
The
glowstone.
most confusing plot twist of my
Yeah.
life.
You know what I think is even funnier too? Is whenever they intercut that scene of him playing the piano and he's like playing the music that's going on in the
Oh,
background.
when he's when he takes her to the house for the first time.
Oh, it's just randomly, like he just all of a sudden this whole montage they're like laying in the grass, looking at one another and all this stuff, and then the camera like comes in and he's just going bing bing. Bing,
Okay, yes,
bing,
yes,
bing,
yes.
Bing 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 bing.
Dude, and it reminds me so much of TikTok because half of these sounds that are on TikTok are literally from Twilight.
Yeah.
And like in the beginning
can't-
when it says in the small town of Forks, Washington, like that's a TikTok sound.
That's funny.
And this one is in it, and it was so funny.
Yeah. I was laughing at that scene where Edward's playing the piano because it's never referenced again in the movie. It's only shown to be like, oh wow, he's serenading her, type thing. And I even read too that Robert Pattinson like actually played the piano in that scene, which I thought was hilarious.
Okay. Yeah, there must have been something wrong there.
Yeah. My next one is whenever Bella and him actually get together and he takes her back to his parents for the first time. And they're, supposed to be making food.
Oh,
and
at
all
the
this
party,
stuff.
she
Yeah,
ate
yeah.
beforehand.
Yeah.
She's making a salad, and she's like, "Oh, Bella ate beforehand." She's like, "Well, I know you guys are vampires. You don't eat." And she goes,
Yeah.
breaks the salad.
You know
bowl.
she actually broke it with her hand.
Yeah.
Heard? Yeah, I read that. I was very surprised.
I read that. I was
Yeah.
like,
And
what
she
the
gets
heck?
she gets injured from it.
Yeah, I
she
think-
cut
and
her hand open.
I think that's stuff. They said that.
That's why the scene that's in the movie, she's wearing gloves.
Yeah,
Afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Dedication for this movie, man.
Yeah. But yeah, my favorite scene is actually whenever that whole, Edward invites her over to meet the parents. He goes over and she's, looking around his room. She's like, "Oh man, you've got so much music." And he plays
Claire de
Claire de
Lune.
Lune, and he goes, "Debussy. I love him.
Mm-hmm.
He's been playing." And she's like, "Oh yeah, Claire de Lune. It's beautiful, right?" The whole time, this is playing, and they start dancing like with
Dude,
with one another in the room, and she's like, "What are you doing? I don't dance." And he goes, "Looks like you are now." And he's like sitting there dancing around in the room. He spins her and all this stuff, and then she says something where he was like, she's like, "Oh, I can't do this," or something like that. And he's like, "Oh, why? You don't trust me?" And she goes, "Yeah, I do." And then he like puts her on his back and like dashes out the window onto the tree, and he's all, "Yeah, you better hold on tight, spider monkey," or something like
my
that.
favorite.
Exactly. You better hold on tight, Spider Monkey.
Favorite quote right
Dude,
Yup.
that made me want to like tear my skin off. like hearing that, and then seeing him climb up these trees and jump around, like, and this like added motion blur that they do,
there.
like
Horrible.
the CGI here is just terrible.
It's so bad.
And this is like the one thing that like I remember
Dude.
from this movie so heavily is him going like jumping around on all these trees,
I remember
and her just hanging on his back.
I remember him running up the mountain.
Yeah,
and
just
his,
going.
his leg. Yeah. Like, when you run, your body moves, but he was just going.
It looks like. Have you ever seen like I'm immediately thinking of like those like, how do you do it? Like those like mind tricks where like it you have somebody like something in front of someone and they're walking but they're like
Oh, they're pretending.
looking like they're like rowing and stuff.
Yes.
It looks like he is on a treadmill and it's going super fast. And he's trying to make believe like he's running really fast, but it's like kind of slow still.
It's not working. It's not like he's not going up the terrain that it's showing us.
It looks bad.
He looks like he's floating.
Yeah.
And it looks horrible. That's the one thing I'll never forget from this movie.
Yeah.
Just how bad it looked.
Yeah. I think the same thing too whenever it gets into my next and last favorite scene, which is the baseball scene.
That's my last favorite scene. So
This
go
is
ahead.
my last as well. My goodness, this is.
All right, you take it from here.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I go no, because I want to chime in a little bit on all this stuff.
So basically, a little before the baseball scene is Edward finally meets Charlie, and basically like this is a date. Like
Yeah.
Edward explains, we're just gonna play baseball, and
Yeah. Which what a weird date to go up to your dad, the person that you have never met, and be like, "We're gonna go play baseball with my family."
And it's about to storm outside.
yeah,
too.
yeah.
It's like,
And she actually asked that question. She was like, "Well, why do you play baseball?" It's literally about the storm. She goes,
you'll see.
"You'll see."
That's why, because we'd be Make
You
it
be-
thunderclaps.
Thunderclaps, yeah. And so basically, dude, how fast do you think they run?
At the speed of light, gotta be, dude.
Gotta be.
Gotta be, dude.
The way that they show it is.
So basically, they're playing baseball, and dude, anytime they hit a baseball,
Dude.
that thing just claps, and it's out of the park.
Do you laugh so hard when she pitches the ball
Yeah,
and
she
her
goes-
foot goes whoop,
Yeah.
like straight up?
Yeah, she kicks that toe up to the freaking
It
heavens.
doesn't even
and
look-
goes.
It looks terrible. It looks so bad.
Yeah.
And so they play baseball, and dude, it's probably like to another city. Like that's how far they hit that baseball, bro.
Yeah.
And the way they run kills me because I don't the girl who breaks her hands, her glass. What's her name?
Rosalie.
Yeah, Rosalie.
Rosalie. She starts running, and it kills me because her hands are like open, and it's like she's running like this.
She's
but like,
making knives
she's-
with her hands.
Yeah, and the effect that you guys talked about of like a what'd you guys call it? Like a fast travel
like
effect?
motion blur.
The motion blur.
It looks like they just speed it up, like they fast forwarded it.
I don't know
and add
how.
like
Why is and it's the facial expressions too? Like they're exerting no force. They're like
Yeah.
they're running
running-
at Mach 50.
Like the bionic woman, just
she literally is
looking
Sonya Blade.
looking like the T1000, the T2000.
no emotion. It's insane.
No
dude.
emotion, and it's just crazy. It's just, and it's, I don't know. I don't even know what this movie anymore.
You know who they run like? Freaking Agent Smith from The Matrix, dude. That's who they run like.
That's serious. I just can't believe this scene like got into the movie. I mean, like,
What's it for?
It's literally just to introduce that these other vampires are there and they've been killing people.
but they're so weak as villains.
Yes, they
oh,
are.
it's so bad. And
Yeah.
It's.
I just thought it was funny that the Black Eyed Peas got into this movie. Immediately when they walked out, I was like, dude, this reminds me of the Black Eyed Peas.
And
Like, they gotta walk out and just start going boom, boom, boom,
and pumping.
boom, boom.
the craziest thing too is that they're the people who are the villains who are introduced here do not get concluded until the third movie.
Are you serious?
Yes,
Like
That's
they're in it
ridiculous.
until the third movie,
at least one of them is
Yeah.
which is
The freaking girl.
the girl,
the redhead girl,
because she's at the end. Oh, well, that's
she makes
actually-
it through all of this one, all of the second one, and then would they get dealt with in the third one?
That's ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying, dude. It's
Yeah.
there's a little bit of
They gotta be
throughput.
stronger of a villain.
No.
To be that in that much like. You have to like
I
think
can't
of like
believe
a
Fergie made it that far, bro.
I think of like a villain like Thanos. You know,
built up
like
over
he was built up
years.
over years and years and years, and then he is a villain that is in the last two movies of the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
Uh-huh.
and it takes two movies to deal with him because it makes sense. This guy is super powerful, right?
He's been like the underlying puppet of everything.
Yes. Why would it take three movies for somebody who was just like, you killed my vampire boyfriend, like to be dealt with?
It's because they care more about developing stupid drama between the tribes,
Yeah.
and it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And this scene just kind of highlights that. Whenever they get in, they're like, "Oh, can we join in your game?
yeah.
Why
love
do you want to
their-
play baseball?"
Their,
Like,
their entry their entry is so funny too because it looks like they're walking on an escalator.
yes,
Like they're going way faster.
They're gliding. They're literally
like
gliding.
they're like literally gliding across the grass and like the camera is like being shot in slow motion, but they're going so fast. It's so funny looking.
Mhm.
And then like they're just out there like no shirts on, barefoot, walking around and being like, "You got room for three more?" Like like
They got
who
How-
walks out of the woods and is like, "I want to play some baseball."
Yeah.
Like,
I'm trying to wonder. I'm trying to remember. Oh, I think it's because so Bella is hiding behind Edward.
Yes.
And there's like gonna be a bunch of drama because she's a human, and the gust of wind comes,
that stupid gust of
yeah.
carries the scent.
Yeah, before that, whenever like they give him the ball, right? Because they hit the ball and
Oh,
they
yeah,
catch it and
just-
they give it to him. Dude, the ball CGI is so bad.
Yes.
Did you see it?
I
No, I
remember
didn't
it being
notice
like, Like it's zipped.
No, and then like he moves it around, and it's so obviously fake when he moves the ball around.
Oh, really?
It's horrible.
I
Like,
have to look at that.
It
I have
is
a scene with the
awful.
ball right here, but this ball looks real.
No, it's when he throws it to
When he throws it to Carlisle
Carlisle.
and he catches it, it like zips to him, and he moves it around. It's so obviously fake. It blew my mind. But
Gosh, they treat every scene like an Avengers Assemble scene too, because it's like
Yeah.
once he gets that whiff, the whole family is like,
Look at this, bro.
look at
Look at
this,
this.
look at
I
this,
hate
look at this. Like they're all have their hero
yes,
stance.
they do the whole like snarling at each other. They're all. It's. I hate it, dude.
Yes.
It made me cringe. So
I don't
hard.
understand why you couldn't deal with it right then and there. There's literally 6 versus 3.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess he's supposed to be like the apex or something. Like he's a perfect tracker. Also, I feel like he looks so familiar. Pull that still back up.
Who
Why
is
does he
he?
look so?
Who is he?
What do you even have his name?
No, what's...
The guy who plays James.
Yeah. Oh, is that the guy who's trying to
the long-haired guy, the
Yes.
tracker?
He just looks familiar. Like he should be. You know, he's in like one of those obscure movies. Like he should be like the protagonist in Jumper or something. I know he's not, but a movie like that,
He's
you
just
know,
random. Yeah.
a random guy who had like a hit movie once.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I even thought it was funny too. Whenever all that drama takes place, Edward like throws Bella into the car and like he buckles her up. He like puts her seatbelt on her, and she's like, "All right, fine, get in." And he gets in, and he's like, "I should have never taken you here. I promised your dad I'd keep you safe. You need to leave now."
mhm.
And she's like, "What am I supposed to do?"
Oh yeah,
Like,
isn't he like, we have to get out of here. You have to leave town
Yeah.
for days on end so we can protect you.
yeah.
I don't think he's in nothing that we would know.
Oh, are you on it right now?
I'm on his IMDb, and there's nothing that I would know him from besides maybe the Magnificent Seven.
Give me his name real quick.
His name?
Yes.
His name is Cam Gigadent. Gigand.
Okay, I pulled him up. I'll search up as we're talking here.
Okay.
But my goodness, this scene is terrible.
Yeah, but this sets the catalyst for like the whole end of the movie,
Mhm.
where now this guy is tracking Bella because he's just bloodthirsty, wants to eat her, and so they devise this whole plan to like take her to Scottsdale, Arizona,
Mm-hmm.
and hide her there, and then he tries to pull this big brain move where he's like, "Oh man, I'm holding your mom hostage. You better come get her."
And it's fake.
Yeah, and it's fake. He gets her alone, is about to kill her, and then somehow Edward travels all the way to Scottsdale incredibly fast. And they all the family goes over there, they kill this guy, light him on fire.
Yeah, how'd you
And
feel about that end fight?
It's trash.
It's trash.
Absolute trash.
Dude, the way that they show it, the way that they show it out of Bella's eyes, it's like she's laying down straight, but you're looking at a peripheral vision, and you just see people getting ripped apart and thrown into a fire.
Yeah.
It is
funny.
terrible.
Yeah, the whole wire work that they do, where they're flying through the room and smashing into mirrors and
Mhm.
dude, when they break the wood flooring,
Oh,
and it's like anime style levels of destruction where it's like,
Yes.
it's insane.
Okay, I figured out the movie that I know him from. Have you guys ever watched the movie Never Back Down?
yeah.
Have you seen it?
No.
It's this guy. It's the villain at the very end that he fights, the protagonist.
Is it really?
It is.
I know it's like an MMA movie.
Yeah, but it's a trash
It's
movie.
very
it's
not
awful.
I know it was popular because I had friends who loved it. I
And
never watched
I
it.
think it was one of those underdog stories where a guy goes to fight and he gets beat the crap out of, and there's a
Amber Heard's in it.
a bully character, and then at the very end he's like, "I've trained hard to beat you up."
Yeah, does he Superman punch him or
He
something?
does, yes,
Yeah.
on the top of a car or something like that. And they're doing Mortal Kombat type moves. I think there's a scene where he has him in a car hood and he just bam smashes the car hood on him, stuff that would kill him.
environmental kills, takedowns.
Yeah, seriously.
That's funny.
But he's in
Yeah,
that
he
movie.
He pressed R3.
What?
a deep. He pressed
He pressed R3.
Yeah, didn't you say environmental kill?
I didn't know that's the button to do it.
I don't know either. I'm just assuming.
Then what does that mean? He pressed R3.
Yeah, he pressed R3 to use the freaking ability. No?
I don't know.
I don't know. I thought you knew that was like the button to press.
I'm just guessing.
You're playing Doom. I think that's what you
yeah,
click to play
R3's
Doom.
melee. That's
Yeah.
I think it's L1 if I'm being honest.
Oh, Never Back Down. Surprisingly, 2008. This one came out. So he did both.
Busy
Both
year.
movies. Jeez. I'm
Both.
gonna go back and watch this trash movie.
Yeah. But yeah, this whole last fight scene takes place.
She ends up getting bit.
Yeah, we find out that she actually gets bit, and then it's Edward's job to like suck the venom out that will
Mhm.
turn her into a vampire, and he like tries to not get carried away, so he's like eating her basically, and
Bro,
it's just
literally
like
just-
he's sitting there sucking on her, and he's going,
Like he's losing it, dude.
like, yeah, and he's just like, I can't stop, it's so good, like, and then he's like, Carlisle's all, Edward, stop, you're killing her. And you can see her just going, dude, when she goes cross-eyed,
Yeah.
look at her, she's all, it's freaking wild looking.
Yes.
And then she, ends up being in the hospital. Edward tells her mom this whole story of how, like,
Dude.
oh, you
she
fell down the stairs.
and then through a window.
Yeah, you fell down the stairs and through a window and you cut yourself open. And that's why you're here. And Edward hasn't left since. Yeah, yeah. And then after this,
It goes into prom.
oh, yeah.
And that's so stupid because Jacob is like in this movie for like 5 minutes total screen time.
Yeah.
And he shows up at prom. He walks. I don't know why Edward walks away.
I forget.
Because they don't like each other.
No, but he
No,
walks
he
away,
walks away
and
for
then Jacob
and
shows
leaves her
up.
alone.
So
for
Jacob
some
shows up,
reason.
and what he says is so stupid. He goes, "My dad came and paid me $20 to come talk to you."
And tell you to break up with your boyfriend.
Oh.
And she goes, oh,
Tell him.
Tell him funny and to pay up.
yeah.
And then she like tries to get up, and she's wearing a boot because she breaks her leg. And and Jacob goes to help her up, and then out of nowhere, Edward comes up and goes, "I got her from here."
Yeah.
And then he just
Extremely
Yeah, that mad
territorial.
dog.
side eye.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is just ridiculous.
Yeah. And then they, have prom with one another. They're dancing. Edward makes like he's going to bite her on the neck and then just starts kissing her
Yes.
instead. And I think that's how the movie ends, right?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I
it
love
like
the
pans
last.
down to the reflection in the water.
Oh, yeah,
And then-
yeah.
The last still that it shows on film grab is them under the gazebo. I think that's what you call it.
Yeah.
And I love it because she's literally wearing a dress, a boot, and Converse.
Yeah.
I'm
At
different.
prom.
You know who she reminds me of? Jughead.
Yeah, Riverdale.
Riverdale. She straight
Yeah.
up said, "I'm weird. I'm different. You see, I wear this beanie. I'm different." You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And that movie,
I
show,
only watched the first
Awful.
season on that show.
that show is
bro.
awful. Like, I can't believe there was supporters of that show.
Anytime I think of this movie, I think of this girl on TikTok. She does these like POV. You're the insufferable female lead in an indie movie who loves cooking or something like that, and she's like, "My grandma used to make this meal. She said, soup isn't a meal; it's a feeling, and I think I really like that." Like, and she does it so well.
Yes.
And anytime I watch it, I'm just like, this is excruciating, dude. But she like nails it every freaking time.
Yes.
Yeah. This is what her whole character reminds me of.
Yeah.
I also noticed too. I made an observation. I don't know if this is the thing, but I laughed so hard at why do they have a frozen ice sculpture of two dolphins in the fountain?
Do they really?
Yeah, they have an ice sculpture of two dolphins in the fountain. And I saw it and I was like, oh, they're two dolphins because they mate for life. They're partners
you
forever.
really-
Oh, you really dug deep. I can't find it on film grab.
And Alexa heard that and she was like, that might be actually why. That might be some symbolism right there. And I was like,
Maybe.
it's so on the nose. Yeah. But yeah, that's Twilight for you.
That is
That is
Twilight. I
Twilight.
mean, that's all I've got
That's the
to
first
say.
movie.
Yeah.
First
So,
of 5.
What are some best quotes?
So we hit 2 of them of mine, and my last favorite one is when she tells him that when Edward tells her that he's a vampire, he goes and says like, what there's superheroes and there's bad guys. And my favorite was he goes and stops for a second and he just says in his deep voice and goes, "What if I'm the bad guy?" And it's so bad.
Okay, I have a quote that they fought to keep into the movie. It was in the book. They fought to bring this into the movie. He says, it's like when they're talking about like going, like falling in love with each other or whatever, or like being together. He says, "And so the lion fell in love with the lamb." And then she goes, "What a stupid lamb." And he goes, "What a sick, masochistic lion."
Oh.
Does that make you want to vomit, bro?
Yeah.
A little bit.
That's terrible.
Yeah. We've talked about mine already, but my first one was when Edward's talking about, he's like, "I just can't stay away from you. There's something about you. You're like my own personal brand of heroin." And I heard that and I was just like, "Ooh."
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one is, "You better hold on tight, spider monkey." It's awful, dude. Yeah. Any other best quotes?
I can't. I
Nope.
mean, there's so many like just cringe-worthy.
Just if you literally click on IMDb quotes, they're just all bad.
Yeah.
They're just
They're okay. Did you laugh at the scene where they're at the diner and he's like, "I can read all these people's minds. Money,
Cat.
money, sex, money, sex, money, cat." And the guy's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like he's thinking about his cat.
Yeah.
It's so weird,
Yeah.
man. It's so
strange. Any other best quotes here?
No.
I don't want
Alright.
the square root of pi.
Yeah. If there's no further quotes, let's move into bro moments. 'Cause I got a couple.
I got a couple. Dude, what's up with Charlie and Billy fighting in the background?
Yeah, just
They do that.
being good old boys. They do that where like
They do that.
They have to have like some sort of reason for the characters to have some alone time. So they're like, "Oh, let's just have you in the back and just have you farting around with one another."
They do that
Like-
all the time, and it's so like clunky.
They do the same thing with like the guys playing football behind the diner.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, well, you don't want to go play with your friends over there?" And she's like, "Really? You think I'd go over there and play football with
Yeah.
these guys?" Like,
They do that throughout all the movies, and they're like, there's a new character being introduced, and a way for them to naturally move the scene is like, "I'm gonna give him a noogie," and then
Yeah.
they go off. And he's like,
Yeah.
"Get out of here, punk!"
yeah.
And I'm like,
it's awful.
they do it all the time. I want to start with this. I don't know if it's real. It's probably not. But when they were, you know how they give you that little montage of her like going from Arizona to Forks?
Yeah.
Well, there's a scene where like they're going through a desert type thing, and it looks like the hand of God. It
Oh,
looks like the
really?
hand of God. So I said, are they connected? The universes. Is Holes in the same universe as Twilight? Because there's straight up a mountain that looks
God's
like this.
thumb.
God's thumb.
That's funny.
I was like,
Dude,
what
we're
the
going to
heck is
pass
that
it and
about?
you're going to hear, "Don't give up, never give up." My first bro moment was the character Eric coming up to her. Eric. The guy coming up to her. He's got the long hair, real skinny guy.
yes.
And he comes up to her, immediately knows everything about her.
Yes. The dude
How-
that's like, he's like supposed to teach her.
Yeah,
around
and he's
school
like,
or whatever.
"I'll show you around school." That guy, his name's Brandon. You don't want to talk to him.
Mhm.
Like, he immediately knows everything about Bella. He's like, "Yeah, I know you, Bella Swan. You're the new girl. You are in your junior year. You have biology this period." And like, just is just a genius. Somehow knows everything and anything about her without her having to say anything to him. And the whole time that he's telling her all this stuff, she's like, yeah. How did you know that?
Dude,
Like-
it's seriously, that's exactly how she acts right there. Those weird, like, what do they call them? Like, they're almost like ticks a little bit.
She goes
but
like,
she's always biting her lips, dude.
Yeah.
Always. Like, she can't stop herself.
yeah. Another one for me. I died laughing at this whenever Emmett and Rosalie are pulling into the school parking lot in the Jeep, and Emmett's just standing.
All the
Dude,
back.
Emmett's kind of a unit.
He's just standing, like just driving. Who does that? Nobody pulls up to school just standing out the top of the Jeep. I laughed at that hard.
Yeah.
I was blown away by that.
The first time they go to the diner, Charlie and Bella, she gets like ketchup and she tries to grab it.
The way she shakes it,
Dude,
she's
she doesn't
all.
put anything.
She
No.
goes.
Dude, it's like, is there anything in here? I'll use my phone for this, dude. She like grabs it and then like Charlie hands it to her and she goes. And then it cuts to like the other side to do it again and she like goes like this, but her hand goes. And it's so bad. And you literally see nothing come out of the ketchup. It's so bad.
I was laughing at the way she was shaking it because usually when you grab ketchup, you're going, like getting that thing to the
Dude, she was like-
spout, right? She goes like this. She goes.
Oh no.
It's so bad. I've
It's
never
so
seen anyone
bad.
shake ketchup like that in my
Literally.
life.
And it's crazy when you think about the budget too, because like you would think like, oh, I'm not gonna put more ketchup. We can't afford it.
Yeah.
It's an indie film. We can't do it.
Yeah.
If you can't afford ketchup.
No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. The budget's crazy. I put Taylor Lautner as a little kid. Tell me he doesn't look freaking weird with his long hair.
That's a wig.
It's a wig. I
Yeah.
read that, which was obvious, but like, doesn't he look so weird?
Yeah.
Dude, was anybody else shook about how Bella got kissed in the lunchroom and nobody did anything about it?
Yeah, that's true.
Kissed from.
Some random guy.
Yeah. Comes to tell you like kisses are on the lips.
Wait.
Yeah.
No, it was on the
What?
cheek.
Oh, was it on the
It
cheek?
was, but still weird.
Yeah.
He just like kisses her?
Yeah. Because it's when, what's his name?
He like kisses her and then does something, and then Eric like chases him off or something.
Mike, which is the guy who likes
Bella and asks her to prom
Bella
first.
and asks her
She
prom
should have
first.
said, nah.
And he was like, that's my
This is my girl.
And then somebody comes up and says, no, that's mine. And then kisses her on the cheek. And then they both chase after him.
oh, wow.
Yeah.
I did not.
I was like, what the heck?
That's wild.
That's also a big old broman getting asked to prom. And she goes, what? Wait, what?
I don't really dance, and this girl likes you. She would really like it if you asked her. Yeah.
Ends up working out.
Yeah. The whole car accident.
I was going to say, can we talk about that?
Dude, this is an iconic scene too.
It
Everyone
is.
remembers
When he goes, "Gong!"
Yeah, stops it. Yeah, this whole scene I was laughing at too because who just whips into a parking lot like that?
And the way
This
the
whole-
car slid at it too was, I don't feel like that's real.
No, it just like he pulls in and like whips into the in the parking lot, and the way that it's shown, Bella's like got her truck parked here, right? And there's a parking lot right here. He whips in from here, turns in and goes and like overcorrects. So somehow the car turns this way and starts sliding
It
horizontally
slides,
like for like 10, 15 feet. Like until it's about to crush Bella. And then Edward goes over there with his superhuman speed and stops it and then like stares into Bella's eyes, and the whole time she's like,
And then he like gaslights her too. He's like,
yeah,
you don't know what
You
you
didn't-
see.
you don't know what you saw. You hit your head.
I was there the whole time.
Yeah, I was right next to you. And she's all, no, you weren't. I know what I saw.
I saw you across the parking lot.
My
Yeah.
next bro moment is him fixing the dent.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it just goes.
What about the vampires eating that guy Gerald on the boat?
Yeah, that
Like,
was wild.
when that guy James is just shirtless on the boat, and he goes, what are you guys doing over here? They're like,
and she grabs the boat and pulls it.
yeah, and then she says something like, oh, let's not play with our food.
Yeah.
And then they freaking eat the guy. Yeah, I
Mhm.
thought that whole scene was a bro moment too.
What about the scene when Edward kicks up the apple that she dropped?
Yeah. It felt like Spider-Man.
It did, didn't it feel like Spider-Man
Yeah,
when he
when he
went?
Yeah,
It was very cringy. I heard that
Yeah.
it took him 13 times
to kick that thing up.
to get a good enough scene for that.
Yeah. What about? So we talked a little bit about the scene whenever Edward goes Tokyo Drift. What about whenever he growls at the guys? Whenever he's
Oh
getting
my
them in,
gosh.
and they're like, "Hey, we're talking to her," and he goes, like, and they're all like, "Whoa, dude, whoa!" They back up.
Chill.
It's freaking cringe. I put just in all caps The Running.
Yes, that was my next one. The running up the mountain was insanely bad.
Yeah.
In all caps, I put prom in a boot.
Yeah.
Prom in a boot.
What about whenever they kiss for the first
Oh
time?
my gosh! And he
Dude, it's excruciating.
goes,
yeah.
He jumps
Bro.
back.
Dude,
Oh.
whenever-
enough.
turned into Batman, dude. Dude, just the way that they
Oh
kiss
my
and how
gosh.
long it takes.
Yes, it takes forever.
It's excruciating.
They're like
Why is she looking like
They're
him like this?
They're like
slowly
edging.
nudging.
Yes, the whole time.
edging. That's a perfect way to describe
Like
it.
just waiting for it to happen. They're just like. It takes so
it's like
freaking long.
teenagers having their first kiss.
Yeah, it takes so long. I hate it. And then when they start going in, he does the whole like, I can't control myself around you.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was wild.
Doesn't she say, so don't? Or oh no, he says,
Yeah.
I'm not strong enough to stay away from you.
And then
Yeah.
she says, so don't.
Yeah. Another one I have here that I'm kind of having trouble. Oh, this is in the fight scene. Whenever James yeets freaking Bella across the room and she smacks her head on the back of the
Yes,
back of
yes.
the stakes.
Wait.
This is right when she lands.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she actually
Yeah,
like,
dude.
gets
Like he
launched.
launches her and she goes whack and smacks the back of her head on one of the
Yes.
on the edge of one of those things.
Yes.
I was dying laughing.
You would
at
die.
that. Yeah.
That's so much head force trauma.
Yeah. I was laughing at that.
She survives a lot, man.
Yeah. Another one for me in that whole scene is the Robert Pattinson song.
Yeah, at
Ready?
the very end.
No, so give it some context first, because this whole song plays, which I found out. Alexa told me, Robert Pattinson like wrote and performed this song that plays in this moment, and it's whenever he's like sucking the venom out of her, and the entire time it's playing. There's like this like, when I had the subtitles on.
What did it say?
It said like bluesy folk ballad.
Yes, it
playing.
said it really. Mine said bluesy folk ballad.
Yeah, and I was laughing at just the description, but it's Robert Pattinson playing this guitar and singing, and he's like singing in the most like intelligible voice. Like the only part that I know that like Alexa knows is he goes like, Melissa, I'll wrap you in my arms. And like
It's. I don't know what he's saying.
it's awful.
All I know is I will wrap you in my arms. That's all I
Yeah.
hear.
Yeah, hit it on him.
I will wrap you in my arms.
Dude, it's awful. And I even went to find out too that there's another song that he does and performs in the movie, but I don't know where it is or what movie it is.
Honestly,
That one's called "Let Me Sign."
Yeah,
I
maybe
encourage-
that's what he's saying instead of Bill aside.
Oh, let me sign.
Let me sign.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Yeah.
I encourage anyone who's listening to go and pull that song up.
it
Yeah.
should be diamond by now.
Yeah.
That's
Another
it for
one
me
here.
for bro moment.
I got one more.
Let's hit it.
Whenever Bella is in the hospital and she's got that like the breathing tube,
Mhm.
the nose, it moves on her face.
Does it really?
Yeah, there's different shots where like it'll be like straight up in her eyelashes, and then it will be down,
I see it.
and then back up on her eyelashes again, and then we'll cut back down, and then it's down again by her ears.
Seriously?
Yeah,
this
Oh
one
my
right now is by her eyelashes. The picture on Film Grab.
Dude, she looks sickly.
yeah, yeah. She does.
The way it's like her.
Why does her hand look so thick like that? Like I know it's bandaged up.
I know, and that's another bro moment. They get like, they get her into the hospital, but she literally has a bite mark on her.
Yeah,
How do they?
Not know that she got bitten by something.
How do they describe? Because it's wrapped up right there. It's like
Yeah.
someone had to have seen that and wrapped it up.
yeah.
They
I
just
don't
said
know.
whatever.
A
she felt-
barracuda got her.
got through. She went through a window.
Yeah, I don't know. And the last one is just the slow dance, the prom, them slow dancing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's it for bro moments for me though.
me too.
All right, let's move into some facts with the bros.
Dude. So this budget is kind of wild.
Yeah.
It took $37 million to make this movie.
Yeah. We heard that this was like, from a couple people, that this was supposed to be like some small indie movie.
How was it small?
This movie had a $37 million budget.
How was that small?
It was still this trash. There were
Dirties. I mean,
We've watched
he's got a
movies-
point.
We've watched movies that have been made for less that are so much better.
So much better.
Like,
where did the money go?
Yeah.
It went. You know what? It went to his suit at the end. I had read that his suit was the most expensive suit in all of this whole set, and her dress was $20.
Yeah, I saw that.
So opening weekend, it made $69.6 million. Like opening weekend, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And then gross for U.S. and Canada was $193.9 million, and gross worldwide was $408.4 million.
Yeah, I know the book had to have killed for people to be like, we gotta see this.
Yeah. It was insane.
It was insane. It's just
This was one of those movies too where like afterwards like people are going to Comic-Con dressed up as characters and all that stuff.
so.
Yeah,
Like it has such a big following. It's
true.
crazy.
They really killed it too. The book came out in 2005. This came out in 2008, and then each year they released a movie. So 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011.
That's crazy.
Every single
That's
year
back
they
to
have.
back to back.
Yes,
I mean, that's
Which
good
is-
to like keep fans fed, you know?
That's true.
Like
Which is why the quality never really has a drastic jump either.
Yeah.
The writing stays doo doo the whole
yeah,
time.
seriously. Actually, in regards to the book, before Robert Pattinson got cast, he never even heard of the book. He never heard of the novel at all, and he only attended casting because his American agent persuaded him, and he also liked Kristen Stewart's performance in Into the Wild.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, speaking of the book, I had just read this. Stephanie Meyers, the one who actually wrote Twilight, she wrote a parallel novel to Twilight called Midnight Sun.
Mm-hmm.
It was supposed to take the point of view of Edward instead of Bella. So it would be Edward's point of view seeing her come into the cafeteria or
I want to know what his thought is when he gets that smell. Like,
I can't handle her.
It goes on. He comments the arrival of Bella to the school has all the boys acting like they're in first grade and she's the shiny new toy.
Mm.
I hate that they say it like that,
Yeah.
dude. So this movie was shot in 48 days, which I thought was kind of insane because it just shows how bad it was.
Yeah.
48 days for a movie like this
Yeah.
to throw. Honestly, that's a easy way to throw $37 million if you ask me.
Yeah.
I mean, they made their money back, but they threw it
Yeah.
away.
I would have been an investor, man. They made freaking so
But
much.
what
Tons.
blew my mind was there was over 5,000 actors that auditioned for the role for Edward.
Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah, that's crazy. I had read too that Henry Cavill
Dude,
Yes.
there's so many.
was
wild
Stephanie
ones.
Meyer's first choice to play Edward.
Yeah.
Now Henry Cavill is Superman.
Yes.
I cannot imagine Henry Cavill as this.
Yeah. And then it even goes on further to say that like then she wanted him to play Carlisle.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah, and then he was like, "No, I can't. I'm doing the Tudors."
Mhm.
Yeah, he was doing that show, The Tudors, at the time.
That is just wild.
The Tudors, like royalty, not like like.
The tutors. Yeah.
Another one actually in regards to Robert Pattinson's song and the way that it got introduced into the film. This whole thing is cringe to me, and I think that's why I like it so much. It's so funny. But Nikki Reed, the actress who plays Rosalie, she was the one who got the producers to add Robert Pattinson songs to the film. She would secretly record him from his laptop or from her laptop while he was singing and playing his guitar during filming breaks. So they'd take breaks during filming, and he would be by himself
In my heart.
playing that by himself, right? And then once she got all the recordings, she then took those to the directors and producers where they fell in love with his songs. And the next day they asked Rob if he could record a few of his songs for the soundtrack, and he reluctantly accepted.
Mm.
Which I had Alexa tell me she found it surprising that he reluctantly accepted because apparently he only wanted to do this movie because he wanted money to launch his music career. Because originally he didn't really want to be an actor. He just wanted to, go into music and be a musician. But this movie did so freaking well that he got roped in, did all of them, and then got really into acting.
Mm.
And
Now he's a phenomenal
I had to-
actor.
yeah, praise God that he went on to do so much
It
better
took-
because
And I still think this still mars his
career.
for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, I finally grew out of that. I
Well-
love him now of the roles that he's done, but people think of him and he's like, Twilight.
Edward from Twilight.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you how many people had the reaction they had, that same reaction whenever we found out he was going to be Batman the first time.
True.
And they were like, "Oh, the guy from Twilight, he's supposed to play Batman?" Ugh. And I would always be like, "Have you seen him in anything recently?" And they're like, "No." And I'm like, "You got to watch this guy in Good Time. You got to watch him in The Lighthouse. You got to watch him in all these other films that he's been in because he's actually really good." Like, and I prefer to think of Robert Pattinson the way I do now rather than how he got his start.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's almost
100%.
like he had to be in this role, but it also kind of hurt him
Yeah.
a lot.
I mean, I also think of like the same argument for somebody like Heath Ledger. Right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that they're on the same level acting wise or anything, but
I hope you would.
Heath Ledger did, what was it? 10 like a rom-com. It was like 10 things
10
I
things
hate
I hate about you. Yes.
He did 10 things I hate about you, and then went on and did like arguably one of the best acting performances of all time committed to cinema as the Joker.
Yes.
And like won a posthumous Oscar for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm pretty sure more than enough people were being like, "Oh, that guy from 10 Things I Hate About You is going to be the Joker?" What?
Yeah. Or even with he was in Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah. Like,
A lot of
and I
people-
know a lot of people loved that movie too. It won tons of Oscars, I think, too, or got nominated for a ton as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy because I didn't find out about Heath Ledger until I watched the movie.
A Knight's Tale.
No.
I like that movie.
It's with Mel Gibson, The Patriot.
Oh, The Patriot, yes.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
And that's when I found out about Heath Ledger.
You know about A Knight's Tale?
I do know about A Knight's Tale. It's been a while since I've watched it.
Dude, my dad liked that movie. And Heath Ledger plays this knight who like gets real famous for jousting. But the one thing that I loved about the movie was that like it introduced like modern like rock and all this stuff and everything. So like they'd be jousting and you'd hear like the White Stripes playing in the background and all this stuff, and I was always like, "This is sick." And I haven't watched it recently. It's probably horrible, but I remember liking it as a kid.
It came out in 2001.
Wow, really? Man, it feels like that didn't come out that long ago.
Yeah, it came out in 2001.
That's crazy. But yeah, the only other thing that I had here that I think you kind of hit on already was whenever Bella drops the apple, that whole thing is supposed to be like them copying the cover of the book and all this stuff, and it took like 13 tries.
The way he catches it is so like weird because he
Yeah,
kicks
like-
it up and then like cups it.
Yeah,
Like what? You know, normally wouldn't catch something like that.
yeah,
It's awkward. I don't know.
yeah. That's
One
it.
thing that I wanted to mention for you was, so we talked about Eric in the movie. So he's actually a combination of the characters Eric Yorkie and Ben Cheney from the book.
Oh, so he's a combination
He's a
of
combination of two people.
two?
Okay.
Weird.
It's gotta make sense.
So I saw that and I was like, oh.
Okay, imagine this: Jamie Lynn Spears
As Bella?
Bella,
Lily
No.
Collins was considered for Bella.
Brie Larson
No.
considered for Bella, Lindsay Lohan for Bella.
Mm-mm.
Very weird, huh?
Yeah.
There's so many people. I mean, you said 5,000. There's so many people
people
who wanted a piece of
Anne
this.
Hathaway for Bella.
That's freaking crazy.
Paul Walker for Edward.
Paul Walker playing Edward would be wild.
Mila Jovovich for
Imagine
Bella.
Paul Edward still being like his character in Fast and Furious, but being Edward, and like being walking around,
No
and
Christ.
someone is like a
tuna.
That's what he would have ordered
Yeah.
at the freaking
Yeah.
diner.
or like someone's walking with him, and they're like, "Hey, what about Bella?" And he's like, "I said, forget about it, cuh." Imagine Edward doing that.
it would be
like-
terrible.
I said forget about it, cuh.
Yeah.
Emma Stone for Alice.
Ejectocito, cuzzo.
Dude, I love that. Ejectocito, cuz.
Is that for the first one?
That's the second one.
Oh, see,
Aw, bro.
I gotta watch it.
You've never seen the second one?
No.
The second one's probably one of the
Speaking
best
of the
ones.
second one, do you guys, if you've heard that quote from the second movie of this, where he goes, "Bella, where you been, Loca?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I
He
mean, I
says
feel
it,
like
dude.
Yeah.
that's an iconic one.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah. Any other facts here?
That's it for me.
Yeah, me as well.
All right. What doesn't work for this movie?
All right, I'm just gonna speed around this real quick, like a Jeopardy, like a Family Feud.
All right.
Acting, everything.
Everything.
Okay, my first thing is I hate how it looks.
Like the actual like look of the movie, how blue it is.
Yes.
They're doing it because they're like, oh, we want it to be cold and
Yeah,
depressing.
and
all
I
that.
just-
yeah. It's like the same thing they do when like they want you to think it's hot somewhere, so they
So
like
it's always
they
bright
like
and sunny.
they like it's bright and sunny, but they blast the warm balance like
Mhm,
all
it's
the
all
way
like
to the yellow.
orange.
So they're like, oh man, we want you to get the feeling that we're in the desert, so let's make it all orange looking.
Yeah.
Or we want you to get the feeling that you're in Mexico. Let's make it as orange as this freaking table.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
It's bad. And so I know I chose this movie. You know, we're probably gonna dog on it. And I found myself when I watched this movie that it's so cringe that I wanted to turn it off. I couldn't like almost Nick. Like I wanted to pause it and just be like, you know what? I'm gonna wing it because this is how bad it is.
it's
And it's
bad.
so
like,
bad. I don't understand.
and it doesn't get better.
No.
That's the thing that surprises me most.
it doesn't. It's nowhere up from the original.
No, and here's what I noticed most. Okay, the main problem, especially with the whole who's she gonna choose? The main problem is Bella.
Yeah.
She is the problem, bro.
Yeah.
Throughout the entire movie, she's like she's straight. It's so bad. It's so bad. She gets.
Yeah.
Can I spoil it?
Yeah. Do it.
She gets engaged to Edward, right?
Okay.
And throughout this whole time, Jacob is trying to get at her. He already confesses love. He like force kisses her, and she tells him not to. And then all that goes down. Like there's incredible tension. She gets engaged, right? And they're about to have this big fight, and they're on top of a cold mountain. And first off, she had to like. It was so awkward. They're in a tent, and he's warm-blooded, and Edward's cold-blooded, and they were in this tent on a mountain, snowy hill, and it's like the tension there is like because they hate each other because they both love her, and she was freezing cold, and he had to like cuddle her the whole night, and Edward was just watching
Getting cucked.
the whole night. So awkward. Anyways, she's engaged to this man. She loves him with all his heart, right? So and then Jacob hears about the engagement, and he's like, I'm done. I'm leaving. I'm done. And she goes, wait, kiss me.
What?
And on top of a mountain, they don't even do like a quick peck. They like full up. You know, they go in.
What was that noise?
They go in.
What was that? All I heard was, dude.
They go in, right? So Jacob leaves. She turns around, and Edward's watching the whole time. And at that moment, I paused it, and I said, I can't take it. I can't take it anymore.
Oh, it's funny.
It got me heated. I was like, I can't do it.
That's
So
so
she's the
funny.
problem.
She's the problem.
That's funny. One of the things that doesn't work for me in this movie specifically is the freaking huge exposition dump that happens in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
There's so many of them.
It's so lazy, and like the use of narration throughout the beginning of the film is so heavy, and then it gets so minuscule. Like it's so heavy in the beginning of the story because you got to catch you all up to speed. Why are we moving? Where are we moving to? Who are these people? How do I know them? What are their relationships to me and all this stuff, right? And you have to have Bella explain all of it, of course, right? But then, like, for 3/4 of the movie, there is no narration. There is nothing at all. Like, I think of a movie like Goodfellas that has the narration used throughout the movie constantly because we are getting told the entire story by Henry himself, right? This movie does it at the beginning to catch you up to speed and then a little bit at the end to repeat a line that's said at the beginning of the movie where it's like, you ever wish you knew how you died? Or something like that. And it's like, you wish you could die in the place of a loved one? That's how I want to go. And it's so incredibly lazy to me. Like, there are so many better ways to introduce your characters or to come up with ways to where you don't have to have this huge exposition dump and have your character narrate. Like, I'm usually a kind of a fan of narration in movies if it's done tastefully, but here just felt so like forced.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I will say, just in general, the writing is not good. Like, the only way I can really describe it is if you were to like talk to an NPC. You know what I'm talking about?
Or if you were able to like have like some Tumblr girl like write out what she thinks her like ideal conversation with a person is, like, and she would write out like the dialogue between Edward and Bella.
I mean, it's so edgy.
Yeah.
It's so, like, not flow. It just doesn't feel like they're real people.
This movie feels like AI wrote it.
I agree.
Like,
I agree.
Like it feels like you got into an AI and you told it you have to be like as brooding and as emo as possible. Write me a script about two people that are in love.
And there's a werewolf that interferes.
Yeah, and this is what it gave you.
Yeah, I can't handle the writing.
What I feel like is they said, I'm going to type a couple words and then just press space bar and let suggestion take over.
Yeah. I mean, like, the biggest pillars of what I think is in good movies, this doesn't have. The writing is awful. The acting. Can we talk about the acting real quick?
Kristen Stewart legitimately has no facial expression whatsoever.
There's a fact that she only smiles like 20 times in this whole movie.
Yeah, and even when it's a smile, it's kind of like a little smirk.
Why does she show no emotion? I don't.
There's a part legitimately where she's like, oh, like she's supposed to be happy, right, or something like that, and she goes, oh, you shouldn't have done that. Oh man, this is really exciting. I thank you so much. And like she stone faced the whole time. I'm like, are you happy? What am I supposed to be feeling for you right now? Because it looks like you hate your life.
Yes.
She has no emotion.
It's the same thing I felt whenever I watched the live action Lion King. And I watched Simba going,
"Oh no, father!"
And I watched Simba, in that emotional scene in the animation, where it had me crying in the animation where Simba's father dies.
Bro, I want to watch that movie.
Live action comes around and it's like, "Father, get up, please."
They're not emoting the same way.
I need you, and it's like, this takes all the weight out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is awful. Yeah. Terrible.
Yeah, and what? Not even giving Robert Pattinson slack either.
He's trash.
He's
He's so trash.
Yeah.
Everybody in this movie is trash.
I get that you're supposed to be edgy and you're supposed to be like, you're a vampire. You're like this weirdo in the corner, but he's just like.
He took a little too many notes from Derek Zoolander.
He's just. They try to make him so sexy. I don't like that. You know what I'm talking
Walking
about?
around going.
Always having
Light
this
skin
brooding,
face.
like
He tries to give the Riz face.
Yeah, he's doing the Chad face.
yes,
He's
or
he's
like
the one that I would see wearing Sperry's and a button-up shirt with some cargo shorts, bro.
or like how like when they say a joke and he's looking down and he goes, and he looks up and goes. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's so.
Or like that just reminds me of like somebody in anime, like getting tossed around and like all this stuff, and then it has a close up where they're like, "Now this is getting interesting."
Is that all you got?
Or it's like my turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I hate that you said my turn.
But it's that same vibe. It's that same like really, really over the top, unnatural acting.
Yeah.
And I don't think they complement each other well.
No.
Like,
no. Bella is not good for Edward. Edward is not good for Bella. It's proven. Jacob sucks as a person.
Yeah.
She's not. Eric is better a person than both of those fools.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, so you've got bad writing, you've got bad acting. And then
Bad CGI.
bad CGI.
CGI is terrible in this.
And you even have a really lackluster, I think, story/villain.
Yeah.
The villains in this are the most thin
Yeah.
villains I have ever seen in my life.
They're Swiss cheese.
I don't even get it.
I'm not even like, you're supposed to be intimidated by a villain to be like, oh man, I really care for our characters. I hope they get away. These guys, I'm like, I'm supposed to be scared of
They
them?
come in, they have one altercation, and it's like this whole like, well, since I defended you on the field, he knows that, and he's gonna get me, and he wants you all his life, and he's never gonna stop. And I'm like, whoa. You know, I don't know anything.
Bro, you just popped off right now.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Yeah, it is.
It
what
happens in the blink of an eye, and then they dispatch of him
There's
in
no
the blink
lead
of an
up. There's no lead up
There
whatsoever.
isn't. No, there isn't.
You have to make us care for our characters first before you introduce villains that want to kill them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Horrible villain.
Yeah. Also, I thought the whole Google montages throughout the
That was dumb.
entirety of the movie, it's just lazy. Like it's a lazy way to find information or for like a reveal of a character, you know. Like I just there's got to be a better way for
Yeah.
you for your character to find out or to come to the conclusion that they're a vampire instead of being like
Cold one.
yeah, like
Yeah.
it's
Immortal.
yeah. Like it's just it feels lazy.
I will say I kind of hated almost every scene that Bella had with her dad Charlie. They're just they feel so forced. There's no
It's so
like and
awkward.
I get it that they're like distant relationship,
Yeah.
but it just seems like it's a very very awkward first date.
Yeah.
And
What about the scene whenever he's cleaning his gun?
oh,
he's
and
like,
she goes, he's here, and he goes, bring him in.
Yeah. Is so annoying.
yeah, it's ridiculous.
This movie's just not good.
It's also too long.
Yeah.
2 hours.
2
make
hours
it
for
an
this?
hour. I need at least an hour.
Yeah. Oh, an hour and a half.
An hour and a half. I think 30 minutes cut off this, I think, would be perfect.
Yeah. It doesn't need to be this long.
No. Cut out some of the scenes where they're like, take out, like, if you took out 5 seconds of every kiss scene that they're about to take,
Yeah.
you know how much time you'd save?
Yeah, seriously.
Like, you'd lose all that.
I think
You don't
if you
need
took off 5 seconds of him just go, you got a good, pretty solid movie after that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else here for what doesn't
Yeah, I
work?
was about to say, did you got anything that did work?
No, I kind of agree with you, though. What they
I-
set out to
Yeah.
achieve, they
So
did it.
I have one thing that does work, and I do appreciate that the movie nails its tone and its look. It definitely hits every note that it was looking for.
Yeah.
It set out to be this angsty, cold feeling movie. It set out to be, filled with this, dramatic music and all this stuff. And this movie feels like it
Shows, like
should.
it portrays.
Yeah, like it portrays. And like I don't know how to explain this, but like this movie feels like an Evanescence music video.
Mhm.
Yeah, I feel like I could hear, "Oh, can you see?"
Yeah, like
When
it-
he's jumping
got
on
her-
the trees.
yeah. Like this movie feels this movie feels like that. It feels like one of those music videos, and I think the director probably watched it and was like, we got to make this like the tone of the movie. Everything's got to be cold. You got to have this like, angsty, depressing music and this like these like blaring guitars whenever they play baseball and all this stuff. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate that they had like a look and a style for the movie, and they executed what they were looking for well.
And I think that's what I like. So I agree with you, but I also said I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So I'm going against my word, but I just didn't like it because it's just bland.
Mm.
Like I wish I had color.
It's uncooked chicken.
It's It's unsalted
It's
chicken
freaking
more of
chicken
anything.
cooked with Listerine, bro. Blue chicken. You saw that?
And
Can't handle it.
Yeah.
but they do show that really good.
yeah.
They do.
And it works perfectly. Obviously it does, but it's just something that I didn't like.
Yeah, I just liked how funny it was. I really think that it's unintentionally funny,
Yeah.
and that's the only reasons I'd
Yeah.
really come back is to see
It
the horrible CGI that just makes me cringe and laugh. The acting between Edward and Bella, I'm dying laughing. Some of the quotes, I'm dying laughing.
it takes itself so seriously.
It does.
Yes,
And that's what makes it funny.
Yeah.
Is like it tries to be this like very serious, brooding, romantic drama, but then you watch it and you're like, what is this? Like, I'm just smirking and laughing the whole time.
Yeah.
So I enjoy it for that aspect too.
Yeah.
This movie falls under like there are some movies that are so bad it's good. Like I think of a movie like The Room. The Room.
I still have to watch that.
The Room is so awful that it's great. And like I watch it and I'm just like, this is so bad, but I freaking love it, dude. It's so horrible. And this movie almost falls there. Like it almost falls where like it's so bad it's good. This movie's so bad it's almost good. And but it's still teetering on like, no, it might just be
just bad.
Like
it might just be bad. Yeah.
And I think that I like that about the movie a little bit.
Yeah.
So
I could see myself, like, if I had the nostalgia of this being a part of my childhood or whatever, I could understand why people love it.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I could see why it had such a major impact in them as a little kid, but I don't have that now.
Yeah.
And it does not save this movie.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Well, who wins this movie? If we're finished here.
You're good. No. Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah, Robert Pattinson.
He's the only one that I will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same. Are there any themes for this?
I think the theme of you said of same lover for life.
Dolphins.
Dolphin.
Mate for life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
don't have
the
anything.
typical like
Listen.
love knows no bounds type thing.
I wonder what-
Shape of Water type story. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
I'm going to mess with the fish. Same thing. It's like, you're not human or you're dead, but
Yeah.
I still love you. I know how you feel. I know your soul.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ugh, goodness.
Yeah.
Once you know, you know. I mean, they straight up like fall in love immediately.
Yeah, they do. What are we rating this?
I don't know, man.
I give it a 4.
I'm going to be harsh. I'm going to give it a 3.
I'm gonna give it a 4. Yeah, I like it's. There are some things that made me laugh.
Yeah.
Some parts that are enjoyable, but I can almost guarantee you I will never return to this.
I think I will only return to it like if I get a girlfriend and they're like, we gotta watch this, like it's just that time.
I can see that.
But
Yeah,
that's the only
why
time
I'm
I feel
going
like
through them all right now.
Yeah.
that's the only time I feel like I will watch it. Or like
Yeah.
if like I have a kid further on in the future and somehow she discovers this, I'll be like, okay, I'll watch it with you.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'd ever return just for fun.
Yeah.
No. There's
No,
no.
if my kid watches this when they grow up, I'm gonna be like, "This movie's trash." But no, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Can't
yeah.
handle it.
I
Yeah.
could see that though. I
A
could-
4.
All right.
3.
Well, that's it for this episode, you guys. So if you stuck all the way to the end, we appreciate you. Do you agree with our rating? Do you disagree? Do you want to let us know?
What team are you on?
Yeah, what team are you representing?
Did I offend you?
Let us know in a comment on the YouTube channel or a rate and review on the audio platforms via Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts. So that way you guys can let us know your opinions, what you're thinking of either the episode or just the show in general. If you're watching on YouTube, leave us a like as well as subscribing to the channel. Hit the bell notification so that way you're notified whenever we upload videos each week. And yeah, just let us know what you guys are thinking. If you want to get in contact with us, we have every method of contact in our episode descriptions. That's our Instagram, our Letterboxd accounts, and our email address. You can use those platforms or the ones that we mentioned before to either give us, recommendations, ways we can make the show better, what you're thinking of the show, your thoughts of the movie, maybe starting the conversation somewhere we left off or something we didn't hit on that you want to let us know.
True.
Not sure. Yeah, just let us know what you guys are thinking, because anytime we see something like that, it definitely lifts our spirits and lets us know that you guys are liking what we're doing, and then we can engage in further conversation about our love for cinema. So, as always, we're going to introduce the pick for next week, which is my pick.
What have you got for us?
And we're going to be doing a movie that was incredibly influential to me in my middle school years. This movie came out, I think, in 2007 or 2008. Not entirely
Okay,
sure.
Wow. So it's
But
competing
20
against Twilight.
2008. I
2008.
always say 20.
so
2008.
this movie that we're going to be doing is, again, incredibly influential to me. this is one of the movies where I love the villain almost more than I do the hero. And it's one of my favorite superheroes growing up. This is The Dark Knight. We're going to be watching that. It is directed by Christopher Nolan, and it is currently streaming on Netflix and HBO Max.
Both of them. All right.
Yes. And so if you have either of those platforms, check it out. We're going to be checking that movie out and talking about it next week.
All right.
I love this movie, and I have probably rewatched it so many freaking times just for Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker alone. And I think this movie's great. I'm excited to rewatch it. I haven't watched it in so long.
Are you going to do the whole trilogy for the podcast or just The Dark Knight?
I'll probably just watch just The Dark Knight.
Okay.
Yeah. I recently, I think like a year ago now, I recently watched Batman Begins.
Oh, yeah?
And I
think it
forgot.
holds up?
Yeah, and I forgot how good it is.
They all are
really good.
Yeah, really, really good.
I remember watching The Dark Knight Rises in theaters.
The Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, and
dude.
just crying. Like, and on the third one, just bawling.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember...
with Bane?
Yeah.
Oh,
and
wow.
I remember walking out and just being like...
really born in it.
Yeah, I remember walking out and just
by it.
loving every single movie that came out with the Dark Knight trilogy. So I'm excited to dive in.
I'm going to compare it to The Batman.
Oh, yeah.
And basically all of the Batman I've watched.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're going to probably talk about Ben Affleck a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about...
who we think's the best portrayal of Batman.
That might be an interesting topic.
Yeah. So
I'm
Get your thoughts
excited
together.
because I don't really like Batman. You guys know that. So I'm excited to watch it because I don't think I've really fully watched this movie.
mm-hmm.
I've watched it bits and pieces, so I like know what happens. I know like most of the scenes, but I've never like actually sat through and watched it completely. So I'm actually excited to watch it fully through.
I genuinely think it is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Like
excited.
it is, I think, a feat of filmmaking. Like this is a movie where you can take away the comic book aspect of our hero, our villain, anything like that. You can strip that away, and this movie would still be as gripping as it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch it again.
Me too.
So tune in next week to hear what we have to say about The Dark Knight. As always, this has been the Film Bros Podcast. Thank you, and good night.
Good night.
Good night.